One. Okay. Jab, uppercut, hook, roll.
No, he got the boxing skills and the ability to, do whatever he wants in the ring. And it's going to be very hard to beat the skills that he possesses and the smarts that he has. And given the opportunity, I think he can pose a great threat to everybody in the division. And be the last man standing given the opportunity.
Has been turning heads with an intense pad work session as he continues preparing alongside former rival Terence Crawford. The training footage showcased Spence's sharp combinations, explosive power, and renewed focus, signaling that he is fully committed ahead of a potential mega fight with Tim Tszyu. His speed, accuracy, and determination in the gym have sparked excitement among boxing fans eager to see him back at the highest level. Meanwhile, Crawford believes a clash between Spence and Tim Tszyu would be a major attraction for the sport. According to Crawford, the matchup has all the ingredients needed to become a blockbuster event, featuring elite talent, high stakes, and strong fan interest. With anticipation continuing to build, many see the potential showdown as one of the most exciting fights that could be made in boxing today.
This is the biggest fight in boxing right now. This is the fight that everybody been yearning for years. One of the biggest fights in the past decade that I can think of. So, yeah, it's pretty big.
Errol Spence Jr. appears fully committed to his comeback, bringing renewed energy and focus to training camp under the guidance of veteran trainer Ronnie Shields and a revamped team. After candidly admitting that his preparation for his previous fight lacked structure and discipline, Spence has emphasized that this camp is all about returning to the fundamentals that helped him become a unified world champion. The difference is already evident in the training footage emerging from camp. Spence looks sharp, motivated, and determined as he works through intense drills, displaying the work ethic and attention to detail that defined the best years of his career. With a fresh mindset and a renewed commitment to the sport, Spence is aiming to prove that he can once again compete at the highest level and re-establish himself among boxing's elite. The former unified champion believes the extended layoff has given his body the time it needed to recover while also providing a fresh mental perspective on his career. After spending years competing at the highest level, Spence feels the break has allowed him to return to the sport with renewed motivation, focus, and hunger. Now surrounded by a new team and driven by a clear sense of purpose, Spence is determined to prove that he still belongs among boxing's elite. His goal is not only to answer the questions surrounding his comeback against Tim Tszyu but also to remind the boxing world of the talent and dominance that once made him one of the sport's top pound-for-pound fighters. For Spence, this camp is about more than winning a single fight, it's about reclaiming his place at the top and launching a new chapter in his career. He isn't just preparing to defeat Tim Tszyu, he's preparing to make a statement to the entire boxing world. After suffering the toughest defeat of his career against Terence Crawford, Errol Spence Jr. is returning with a renewed sense of purpose and determination. The former unified champion believes the lengthy layoff has allowed him to recover both physically and mentally, helping him regain the hunger and focus that once made him one of boxing's most dominant fighters. Spence has spoken openly about using the time away from the ring to reflect, heal, and rediscover his motivation. Now back in training camp, he appears fully committed to proving that he still belongs among the sport's elite. Determined to silence his critics, Spence has vowed to leave everything in the ring against Tim Tszyu and remind fans that a single disappointing night does not define a career built on years of championship success. For Spence, this comeback is about more than winning a fight, it's about protecting his legacy and showing the boxing world that he still has plenty left to accomplish.
My motto is, I'm the big fish, I'm the shark in the ocean. Put me in there with other sharks. I want my fans to see that I'm facing a real champion, a real fighter who's just as hungry as me, the big fish.
The most recent moniker put Spence's doubters on notice, as he claimed his place in the welterweight sea. But just because it's time to eat, doesn't mean he will take his next prey for granted.
If I lose, it would be because he's better than me. It wouldn't be just because I didn't train 100% or I wasn't focused. I feel undestructible. I just feel like another fighter can't beat me.
The nickname served as a warning to everyone in the welterweight division, signaling that Errol Spence Jr. was ready to reclaim his place among the sport's most dangerous fighters. It was a statement of confidence, determination, and a reminder that he still sees himself at the top of boxing's food chain, but despite that confidence, Spence is not taking his next challenge lightly. He understands the dangers that come with facing a fighter as talented and determined as Tim Tszyu. While he is eager to make a statement in his return, Spence knows that overlooking his opponent would be a costly mistake. With that mindset, he has approached training camp with complete focus, determined to be at his absolute best when he steps back into the ring. His hunger may be stronger than ever, but so is his respect for the challenge that lies ahead.
Couldn't think of a better scenario. He's a great fighter. I'm a great fighter. This fight, is happening now. I think it's happening at a great time. Terence is my dancing partner. I feel like we're going to make each other great.
Recent training footage of Errol Spence Jr. has showcased impressive speed, sharp timing, and explosive punching power, fueling excitement about his return to the ring. The former unified champion appears focused and energized as he continues to refine his skills in preparation for the challenges ahead. Discussing his work with longtime rival Terence Crawford, Spence emphasized the value of sharing the gym with an elite fighter. According to Spence, their sessions are always highly competitive, with both men constantly pushing each other to improve. He explained that the chemistry they have developed over the years allows them to bring out the best in one another, creating an environment where neither fighter is willing to settle for less than their best. Spence believes that training alongside a world-class competitor like Crawford provides a level of preparation that is difficult to replicate elsewhere. Every round, drill, and exchange becomes an opportunity to sharpen his skills, test his limits, and make improvements. For Spence, those intense sessions are playing a key role in his development as he continues working toward his goal of returning to the top of the sport.
It's great because we hold each other accountable. Like today, I'm like, man, nah, but he like, man, come on. I'm like, all right, let's go. And those are the moments that is defining in a fight, where those last rounds that your body is telling you no, but your mind is like, let's go. So it all works out.
Terence Crawford has also spoken positively about working alongside Errol Spence Jr. in training, praising the intensity, focus, and competitiveness that define their sessions. Despite their rivalry, Crawford believes that sharing the gym with a fighter of Spence's caliber creates an environment where both athletes are constantly challenged to perform at their highest level. According to Crawford, every workout becomes an opportunity to improve, as neither fighter is willing to give an inch. The competitive atmosphere pushes them beyond their comfort zones, helping sharpen their skills, enhance their conditioning, and strengthen their mental toughness. Crawford embraces the philosophy that iron sharpens iron, believing that training with an elite opponent like Spence forces both men to elevate every aspect of their game. For Crawford, the value of those sessions goes far beyond simple sparring or drills. The daily challenge of working with a world-class fighter provides the kind of preparation that is difficult to find elsewhere, ensuring that both competitors continue to grow while staying ready for the biggest fights in the sport.
If I didn't train as hard, it's gonna dawn on me during fight night. I'm kind of like a worry freak. It's none of your fault when somebody exploits you and bring out that weakness that you already knew you had, but you didn't change the results of it. It's better than do it now and not have to worry about your legs getting tired in the fight, because the fight's too late. I'm doing everything, training hard, sparring hard, running.
Errol Spence Jr. has built his reputation on relentless pressure, punishing body attacks, and exceptional physical strength. And his current training camp has focused on refining those trademark qualities. Coaches have emphasized improving his conditioning, footwork, and punch accuracy while maintaining the aggressive style that has made him one of boxing's most respected fighters. Training sessions have also centered on increasing his explosiveness and ability to break opponents down over the course of a fight. Spence knows he cannot afford to fade late in the fight, especially after years outside the ring. So, conditioning has reportedly become one of the central focuses of camp.
I think it's gonna be good. You know, I got a little wager bet, for my boy Tszyu. You know, he got Tim, I got Errol. But I think it'd be a good fight for both of them at this stage in their career.
And why are you confident that you win that bet with Tszyu? Why it's Errol in the fight?
Well, I'm not, 100% confident, I just know, the caliber of fighter that Errol is, just like I know the caliber fighter of Tim. I think both of them have taken a lot of damage in their career so far. But I just think,
Meanwhile, Crawford is sure that Spence has everything needed to defeat Tim Tszyu and expects him to come out victorious. Crawford praised Spence's experience, ring IQ, toughness, and ability to perform under pressure, saying those qualities make him a dangerous opponent for anyone. He believes Spence's disciplined preparation and determination will give him a strong advantage once the opening bell rings. While acknowledging Tszyu's talent and power, Crawford feels Spence has faced a higher level of competition throughout his career. According to Crawford, if Spence executes his game plan, he has every chance of securing an impressive victory.
Question not just from me, but from the world, specifically Australia. How you doing?
I'm doing great, can't complain. Been spending a lot of time with my family and ready to get back in it.
You say you've been spending a lot of time with your family. We haven't seen you in the ring. We've seen a little bit of stuff come up in terms of you training. How have you been spending your time since you haven't been in the ring? Tell us a little bit about Errol Spence since we've seen him last.
I definitely been training, but the pure focus has been on my family, just enjoying life, traveling, enjoying the spoils of the rewards of me winning world championships and being successful in boxing. So I just wanted to sit back and enjoy my loved ones and just give them a great time and give them my full attention. So just developing memory.
Errol Spence Jr. believes this upcoming fight could play a defining role in shaping how his career is ultimately remembered. He views the matchup as a crucial opportunity to re-establish himself among boxing's elite and remind fans why he was once considered one of the sport's most dominant champions. Despite the setbacks he has faced in recent years, Spence remains confident in his abilities and determined to prove that he still possesses the skill, heart, and championship mentality that carried him to the top of the boxing world. He understands that a strong performance would not only answer questions about his future but also reinforce the legacy he has spent years building. Spence knows that a convincing victory could silence his critics and pave the way for more high-profile opportunities. With that in mind, he has approached training camp with complete dedication and focus, treating every workout as preparation for one of the most important moments of his career. For Spence, this fight is about more than just winning. It is about proving that he still belongs among the sport's best and showing that great champions are defined by how they respond to adversity. He is determined to deliver the kind of performance that can reignite his career and set the stage for another run at boxing glory.
What type of fighter do you expect besides because of the fact that he hasn't been in the ring for 3 years, and he chose this time to come back and fight you in your backyard?
Yeah, I think he's refreshed, rejuvenated. I hope he is. When he fought Terence Crawford, I felt like he looked a bit dizzy, So I don't know. So hopefully he's all right. Hopefully he's at his peak. That's what I expect.
Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford shared one of boxing's most significant rivalries, culminating in their undisputed welterweight championship clash, a fight widely regarded as one of the sport's biggest events of the modern era. While Crawford emerged with a dominant victory, Tim Tszyu does not believe that performance accurately represents the best version of Spence. According to Tszyu, Spence did not appear to be at his physical peak on the night he faced Crawford, and he expects a much sharper, healthier, and more dangerous opponent when they meet in the ring. Tszyu believes the nearly 3-year layoff could ultimately benefit Spence, giving him valuable time to recover from past injuries, recharge mentally, and rediscover the form that once made him one of boxing's most dominant champions. Despite the questions surrounding Spence's return, Tszyu is not overlooking his opponent or focusing solely on the Crawford defeat. Instead, he is preparing for the best possible version of the former unified champion. Tszyu has repeatedly stated that the biggest unknown is whether Spence still possesses the same hunger, motivation, and competitive fire that drove him to the top of the sport. For that reason, Tszyu is treating the matchup as one of the most difficult challenges of his career. He expects a highly motivated Spence eager to prove that he remains an elite fighter and understands that a veteran with championship experience, pride, and something to prove can be extremely dangerous. Rather than dwelling on the past, Tszyu is preparing for a determined former champion who is looking to make a statement in his return to the spotlight.
You know, it ain't a tune-up, but it's, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's a good little fight for him. Man been out 3 years. Tim Tszyu been active. Former world champion. You know, he ain't going to get nobody we don't know. I can't take nothing. I can't do nothing but salute him, take my hat off for him, and see how he go to work. I think he going to be fine. He looked like he's in good shape, you know? He ain't look all out of shape. He looked like, you know, he looked good. You know, he looked mentally all there. And, I mean, little 3 years, like I said, I told him as soon as it happened, I said, okay, he had other stuff going on, you know, other stuff going on. That was a 5-year accumulation, a lot of stuff he did going through the rigmaroles with Bud, trying to figure out if they was going to fight and building up his reputation and all this stuff. That was a lot. He's been doing this since 2012. That was a lot, you know? So 3 years off, you know, he come in contact with life too. He come in contact with life too. It ain't just about us and what we want to do and what we want to see. He got a life. He in there, you know, so he did right. And I'm glad to see him come back.
Trainer and analyst Bernie the Boxer believes this matchup could ultimately be determined by timing, experience, and the vastly different paths both fighters have taken to reach this point in their careers. In his assessment, Tim Tszyu enters the contest with the advantage of activity, having remained consistently busy against quality opposition while maintaining his sharpness, confidence, and competitive rhythm inside the ring. Errol Spence Jr., on the other hand, brings a far deeper championship resume and years of experience competing at the highest level of the sport. However, he also faces the challenge of returning after a lengthy 3-year absence from competition, a factor that naturally raises questions about how quickly he can regain his form under fight conditions. According to Bernie, ring rust is always a concern until a fighter proves otherwise once the opening bell rings. Even so, he warns against underestimating a fighter of Spence's caliber. Champions with Spence's pedigree often possess the ability to adapt and overcome obstacles that would derail less experienced fighters. Bernie believes that if Spence can quickly rediscover his timing, rhythm, and trademark pressure, the former unified champion's elite-level experience could offset the disadvantages that come with inactivity. In that scenario, Spence's ring IQ, composure, and championship background could become decisive factors in what many expect to be a highly competitive and intriguing matchup.
I mean, tell me, how do you see the fight playing out?
I expect him to win.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. I expect him to win. Yes. I think Errol Spence, he can do more than what he's shown. He just don't have to. You know, I think he can do more than what he's shown. He just didn't ever have to. And I expect, like I'm saying, you know, this guy got a lot in him. I think he got a lot in him. You know. In them 3 years, he had to come back to all the stuff he had to endure. Like I say, he looked in good shape. You know, he went away. You know, he didn't come out right away. He went, and then he back now. You know, he went to get his mind together. That's tell you something.
Bernie the boxer believes Errol Spence Jr. has the tools necessary to overcome the challenges that come with a lengthy layoff and emerge victorious against Tim Tszyu. While acknowledging that 3 years away from the ring naturally raises concerns about timing, rhythm, and overall sharpness, Bernie argues that elite talent, championship experience, and proven ring IQ do not simply disappear with time. According to Bernie, great fighters rely on instincts and skills developed through years of competing at the highest level. He believes Spence's elite fundamentals, technical ability, and understanding of the sport will allow him to make the necessary adjustments under pressure, even after an extended absence from competition. Those qualities, in his view, are what separate world-class champions from the rest of the field. Bernie also recognizes that Tsyu's recent activity and momentum make him a dangerous opponent. Having remained active against quality competition, Tszyu enters the fight with confidence, rhythm, and valuable recent ring experience. However, Bernie feels that Spence's composure in big moments and his history of performing on boxing's biggest stages give him a crucial advantage. In the end, Bernie believes experience will outweigh activity. He expects Spence to draw upon his years of championship-level competition and remind the boxing world why he was once regarded as one of the sport's elite fighters. If Spence can successfully recapture the form that made him a dominant champion, Bernie believes he has every opportunity to make a statement and secure a career-defining victory.
To talk to Errol Spence, but we are just hearing now that despite a number of phone calls and this time being booked with Errol, he has not jumped on, and it appears he will not be joining us for this chat. Tim, your immediate reaction to that?
Well, we've been waiting, 45 minutes now. I missed out on sparring today. I had to change it up for this to be done, so I'm quite upset.
Is this a surprise to you that this has happened? I know you had those interactions at the press conference. Do you think that he's slept through something?
We're waiting for the USA game, but I don't know. Whatever it is, what it is.
The tension between Errol Spence Jr. and Tim Tszyu continues to grow as their highly anticipated showdown draws closer. Following an awkward moment at the launch press conference, where Spence declined Tsyu's handshake, the rivalry took another turn when the former unified champion failed to appear for a scheduled live video cross, leaving the Australian waiting in the studio for more than 45 minutes. The absence immediately fueled speculation among fans and media, with some suggesting that Spence could be engaging in psychological tactics ahead of fight night. Whether intentional or not, the incident quickly became another talking point in an increasingly heated build-up. Tszyu did not hide his frustration when discussing the situation, describing Spence's actions as disrespectful and dismissing them as a diva act. At the same time, he insisted that the incident had only increased his motivation, giving him even more reason to perform when the two eventually meet in the ring. While it remains unclear whether the missed appearance was part of a deliberate mind game or simply the result of a scheduling issue, the episode has undoubtedly added another layer of intrigue to the rivalry. With emotions continuing to rise and both fighters trading subtle shots outside the ring, anticipation for the matchup is reaching new heights. The growing tension suggests that when fight night finally arrives, there will be far more than victory on the line.
The ring against Tim Tszyu, just what are your thoughts on that fight and who do you favor?
I don't know, man. It's Al Heyman calling these guys to come back, man, because we needed something up in the sport. This is beautiful. And I'm very honored and grateful to be in the position I'm in while all this is happening. It's a dream come true. Errol Spence, Australia, Tim Tszyu, heck yeah. I really want to see him win.
Do you think that ring rust is going to play a factor at all with Errol?
I don't think so. I think Errol Spence has been truly non-stop working out. He already looks like he's in shape now. And when you stay on that trajectory, when you're staying consistently on working out, it's only bound to happen with the sparrings and everything. He'll look great.
Teofimo Lopez believes Errol Spence Jr. has a legitimate opportunity to make a successful return against Tim Tszyu, citing the former champion's impressive physical condition and dedication to training. According to Lopez, Spence already appears to be in excellent shape and has shown clear signs that he has remained committed to preparing for a high-level comeback despite his lengthy absence from the ring. Lopez expects Spence to be fully prepared by the time training camp is complete and believes his years of experience competing against elite opposition cannot be overlooked. Having performed on boxing's biggest stages and captured multiple world titles, Spence possesses the kind of championship pedigree that can make a significant difference in a fight of this magnitude. At the same time, Lopez acknowledges the challenge that Tszyu brings to the matchup. The Australian enters the bout as an active, confident, and highly motivated contender who will be looking to take advantage of any signs of ring rust or decline. Tszyu's recent activity and momentum make him a dangerous opponent for any fighter, particularly one returning from a long layoff. Even so, Lopez feels that Spence's conditioning, experience, and proven ability at the highest level make this matchup far more competitive than some observers expect. In his view, if Spence can perform anywhere close to the level that once made him one of the sport's premier champions, he has every opportunity to defeat Tszyu and announce his return in emphatic fashion. A victory would not only answer questions about his comeback but also re-establish him as a major force in the boxing world.
Before I let you go, a man that you have obviously fought, there was reports last night that apparently he'll be returning in the summer, Errol Spence Jr versus Tim Tszyu. I mean, what do you make of that return? Obviously 3 years out the ring for himself, just what do you make of his return?
You know, I'm excited as well, you know, I wish that I would have fought, you know, him back in the day, you know, but, you know, it's exciting. I met Tim Tszyu when I was in Australia, and it'll be interesting to see them two meet and lock on, so, you know, I'll be watching that, and I'll be excited to see, you know, the winners. You know, you never know. You know, I could fight the winner.
Kell Brook shared his assessment of the upcoming clash between Errol Spence Jr. and Tim Tszyu, calling it one of the most intriguing matchups currently scheduled in boxing. The former world champion believes the fight is exceptionally difficult to predict because both men possess the skills, experience, and determination to change the course of the contest at any moment. Brook pointed to Spence's elite ring IQ, championship pedigree, and technical ability as key strengths that could make a major difference despite his lengthy 3-year absence from competition. In his view, those qualities do not simply disappear and could allow Spence to quickly re-establish himself at the highest level if he returns close to his previous form. At the same time, Brook acknowledged the advantages Tszyu brings into the fight. The Australian's relentless pressure, confidence, durability, and recent activity have helped establish him as one of the sport's most dangerous competitors. Having remained active against quality opposition, Tszyu enters the bout with momentum and sharpness that could prove crucial against a returning veteran. According to Brook, the contrast in styles and circumstances should create a compelling and highly competitive contest filled with momentum swings, tactical adjustments, and dramatic moments. Rather than identifying a clear favorite, he views the matchup as a true 50-50 battle in which both fighters are likely to enjoy periods of success. For that reason, Brook expects an entertaining fight that could become one of the most memorable boxing events of the year and one that fans will not want to miss.
Hearing the rumblings of a Fundora, when I think fighters get to a point where they want this, but they haven't been performing there. And I think that might be the case with Errol Spence Jr. Certainly was the case in my opinion, with Keith Thurman and also with Danny Garcia. I feel, even though they did battle injuries, I felt another big part of that was they wanted big pay against lower opponent. They didn't want to come back and get big pay against a big opponent. It's a part of the game. And I got a feeling that that's what Errol's looking at right now. I think Errol's looking at how can I, get the money that I'm used to getting. And, for the sake of words, he's got to get his feet wet again. He's got to see how he feels.
Meanwhile, Sean Porter believes Errol Spence Jr.'s comeback is about much more than simply proving he can still compete in the ring. In Porter's view, the real question is whether Spence can still perform at the elite level that once established him as one of boxing's biggest stars and most respected champions. Porter pointed out that many veteran fighters eventually reach a stage in their careers where they continue pursuing major fights and significant opportunities without first demonstrating that they remain at their peak. He compared Spence's situation to that of fighters such as Keith Thurman and Danny Garcia, both of whom dealt with injuries and lengthy layoffs before seeking high-profile matchups upon their return. According to Porter, Spence may be facing a similar challenge. Rather than focusing solely on the result, he believes this marquee fight serves as a measuring stick to determine exactly where the former unified champion stands after spending years away from competition. It is an opportunity to assess whether the skills, timing, and physical attributes that once made him dominant are still present against a top-level opponent. While Porter has never questioned Spence's talent, accomplishments, or championship pedigree, he believes only a performance against a fighter of Tim Tszyu's caliber can provide a definitive answer. For Porter, this fight is not just about winning or losing, It is about discovering whether Spence can still compete among boxing's elite and proving that he remains capable of performing at the highest level of the sport.
So there's a lot of things lingering right now with Errol. I'm not sure if he makes a comeback. This, unfortunately, is the one thing that I do know. Most fighters walk away until they have to come back, and usually it's the finance situation that brings them back. Certainly hope that doesn't end up being the case with Errol. If I had to bet on it right now, I would bet that Errol makes a comeback. I would bet that Errol makes a comeback because what we saw from him in his last match against Terence Crawford, that was just how that fight went. But at the end of the day, and we can tell by how he kept getting up, that ain't who he is. And he ain't going out like that. So that being said, I guess I said a whole lot. Yeah, Errol comes back. If Errol don't come back, then that, to me, that means he's good with where he's at.